Hello, I'm Carolina from Mexico,
Hello, I'm Trezor from Congo.
and both of us are green reporters at the COP17 for Greenpeace. And today we just got these reports to distribute, and we really don't know what is this about.
Hello, can you tell us what it's about?
Good. I think one of the big questions on everybody's mind, as we hear more and more about climate impacts and how there's this huge sense of urgency for us to get a deal through COP17 and for more progress at a national level, is if there's all this urgency, why isn't it happening? What's holding us back? So last year, what we did is we started researching all the key policy initiatives at a national level that were critical for countries to be able to come here and sign a deal. So, for example, the EU 30% negotiations around EU committing to 30%, and issues like that. And what we found was that there are major corporations who have a vested interest in us not moving forward, in us not getting a deal here in Durban, and not restricting global warming pollution, who are holding us back, and they're doing it at in a number of different ways. They're funding fake science. They're funding kind of grassroots campaigns, which are actually fake campaigns to oppose climate initiatives. They're actually giving money to politicians. Overall, what these major corporations are doing, corporations like Eskom and Shell and the Koch brothers, is that they are exerting an undue influence on our leaders, and the governments are listening to them and not able to move forward to agree on a deal here in Durban or climate policy at a national level. So we produced this report, Who's Holding Us Back, and we did several case studies of key countries like South Africa, Canada, the EU, and looked at which corporations are influencing decisions and how they're doing it. And really, what our conclusion is that the governments here in Durban need to listen to the people and not the polluting corporations, and that these major polluting corporations are having an undue influence on the political process. So our goal is to name them, is to shame them, is to force the governments to stop listening to them and to distinguish their positions here in the climate negotiations from the positions of these major corporations. The important thing to know is that when our governments say that they can't reach a deal because they're concerned about jobs, or they're concerned about economics, or they're doing what the people want, all of those things are not true. And what we found, to give you a specific example, is that in the EU, there have been studies by the EU Commission that show that if the EU reduced global warming pollution by 30%, that it would benefit the economy. So these are the EU's Commission's own studies. Yet the big corporations like BASF and ArcelorMittal and Business Europe, the association, have started a campaign to scare people against climate policy. What they're saying is, look, if we put in place these climate policies, it will lead to the deindustrialization of Europe. The whole economy will be unsettled. And by creating that deindustrialization of Europe concept, they've pushed negotiators to be afraid, and the public to be afraid of climate progress. They equate moving forward on climate issues and clean energy issues with economic destabilization. And so, and they're putting a lot of money into funding these kind of ad campaigns and things like that. So the report gives you an overview of key initiatives in several countries, and the companies. We name names of the major fossil fuel companies who are holding back progress, not only in all these countries, but here at an international level. These companies are arguing for more influence in the negotiations. They're arguing for status in the negotiations. And today we did research and found out that there are hundreds of fossil fuel companies, coal companies, oil companies who are here walking the halls and lobbying and influencing negotiators. These companies should not be allowed to have that influence because they have a vested interest in making sure that this climate negotiation fails. Because if it fails, they make more money.
Okay.
So that's what the report's about, and that's why we're hoping you can help us distribute it.
Now I understand what it's all about.
Yeah, and what is very important to learn what is all behind. But you know, there are a lot of reports. Are we gonna get to learn about all of them?
Don't think so.